I now call this regular meeting of the Goose Creek CISD Board of Trustees to order. The time is now 6:01 p.m. Mrs. Guy, was this meeting properly posted?
It was.
Do we have a quorum?
We do.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Before we go on to our opening exercises, I'd like to ask that we come together as a group for a moment of silence and hold the family, friends, and those impacted by the loss of Andrew in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you. This is the first board meeting since a tragedy that deeply affected all of us in this district and our community. We know many are grieving, hurting, and many are searching for answers. The board's information is limited due to an active criminal investigation, and it's essential that this process be allowed to move forward so the facts can be established. I want you to know that the district is taking intentional steps to hear directly from students. Their voices and concerns matter, and they are being listened to with care. Administration has recommended an external investigation, and the board will continue to receive information as it becomes available and will act responsibly and deliberately as the process allows. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight and for allowing this work to move forward with care and respect. I understand we have people in the overflow room, and I want to recognize that we know you're over there in the overflow room as well. At this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Foxworth for opening exercises. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, President Campisi, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Rodriguez. We will begin with a prayer led by Mrs. Barat Timms. Everyone, please rise.
Thank you, Dr. Foxworth. Could you please bow your head with me, please? Heavenly Father, we gather for this school board meeting, seeking your presence, divine wisdom, as we navigate these challenging times. Grant our board members clarity of thought, discernment, and courage to make decisions that truly serve the best interests of our students, staff, and our community. Bless our teachers, administrators, and support staff who serve daily and strengthen our community as they continue to support our efforts here as well. May our collective efforts be guided by your light and lead to a positive future for every child. We ask this in your son's name, amen.
Thank you, Ms. Barat Timms. Everyone please stay standing. The Pledge of Allegiance to the United States and Texas flags will be recited by student Matthew Donan from Alamo Elementary.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. The opening exercises will be provided by students from Alamo Elementary. Select students will be performing the song, This Little Light of Mine. Students represented are Carter Abraham, Tanaya Archer, Camila Caratachia, Damian Donan, Matthew Donan, Kevin Alvarino, Ethan Garcia, Liam Venegas, Gabriela Garcia, Johnny Garcia, Callie Harvey, Carter Harvey, Hadley McHugh, Elijah Ruckett, and Temperance Sims. The students are under the direction of choir director Emily Gonzalez and principal Mrs. Rivera. Thank you so much, Alamo Elementary.
Are there any parents in the audience of the children that performed with us tonight? If you all are here, don't raise your hand. Let's stand up and be recognized. Thank you so much. That was a great performance by the children. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is citizens' participation. Mr. Foxworth, were you complete? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Foxworth. The next item on the agenda is citizens' participation. Citizens' participation is a time that the board will hear public concerns or public comments from those who have properly signed up to address the board. At regular board meetings, the board shall permit public comment regardless of whether the topic is an item on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. General public comment is limited to no more than 30 minutes per meeting. At all other board meetings, public comment shall be limited to open session items on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Each speaker is reminded that he or she is limited in his or her presentation to a maximum of 3 minutes, which can be further limited or reduced by the presiding officer, and that he or she should respect the confidentiality concerns and refrain from attacking the personal character of any individual student, staff member, or board member in addressing concerns or comments. Pursuant to state law and board policy BE legal, the board cannot consider or take action on concerns at this meeting unless they pertain to an item on the posted agenda for this meeting. Any deliberation or decision on that item, any deliberation or decision on an item that is not posted for consideration at this meeting shall be limited to a proposal to place the subject on the agenda of a future meeting. Ms. Garcia has advised that 5 people have signed up to speak. Is that correct? I will call each person individually. You will have 3 minutes to speak. If you would, come to the podium, speak clearly into the microphone, state your name and the topic you'll be speaking on. Mrs. Guy, our secretary, Ms. Guy, raise your hand, please, will be our timekeeper. She'll keep the time for 3 minutes. When you're down to 1 minute, Ms. Guy would chime in and say 1 minute. Please continue. Your time will begin once you begin speaking. Our first speaker is Desiree Klaus. Please come to the microphone.
Good evening. My name is Desiree Klaus. I'm here tonight as a Baytown mom, a GCC ISD alumni, and a parent of students who currently attend this district. As we enter 2026 with a new superintendent, I am hopeful, but I'm also still carrying the weight of last semester's tragic events. Our community experienced pain. We often say it takes a village to raise a child. So my question is, how do we build that village within our school district to keep our children safe? I know GCC ISD can't promise 100% safety, but we collectively can work towards better communication, solid preparation, and true transparency. I'm not here to lecture or reprimand. I'm here to collaborate, not as a candidate, but as a mom who wants to make sure every child in GCC ISD is safe while learning. GCC ISD cannot do this alone, and neither can families. You need us just as much as we need you. So my question tonight is simple. What are we waiting for? If it's legislation, we call our representatives. If it's community presence, I will continue to show up. The ball is in your court, and I'm ready to work with you alongside our families and community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Klaus. Our next speaker is Kinsey Stringer. Again, Ms. Stringer, you'll have 3 minutes. That'll begin once you start speaking.
Hello, my name is Kinsey Stringer, and I'm a freshman at Ross S. Sterling High School. Andrew Meismer was both my friend and someone I looked up to. He saw every day as a new opportunity and a chance to be better. He was very intelligent and wanted to pursue a career in psychology. On December 17, 2025, at approximately 11:15 a.m., Baytown police responded to a reported stabbing at Sterling High School. At approximately 11:53 a.m., Andrew Meismer succumbed to his injuries after being stabbed with a pair of scissors by Andre Matthews. Of course, you already know this and have probably heard this story at least a dozen times within the last month, but I would like to point the following issues. The door to an empty classroom was left unlocked. Students who witnessed the event were simply told to go back to class and complete work. Students who didn't witness the event were kept in the dark about the situation. School continued on the 17th and the remaining 2 days of the semester that followed. Finals were not canceled or postponed. The district remained silent while students protested for accountability and safety. Andre Matthews was allowed within the general population of students after many violent offenses. Andre Matthews was let off the hook with little to no punishment for past offenses. While I understand the school is not directly at fault, they are partially responsible. Andrew Meismer doesn't get to see every day as a chance to be better, or get to be kind or pursue his future. Andrew Meismer was not protected, and the school system has failed him and every single one of its students. I'm a 15-year-old high school freshman, and even I can recognize an escalating pattern of behavior, and it is absolutely impossible that not a single person was able to identify it. There should be policies in place that require mandatory removal from general population of students and increased supervision after a certain number of violence offenses, as well as an investigation of the student's home environment due to the fact that in the majority of these cases, violence is learned in the home. If a student continues with violent offenses after being removed from general population, they should be removed from the school and continue their education
1 minute.
in homeschool or a separate program specifically for children with behavioral issues, where students are also able to be counseled on socialization and interaction with peer groups. There needs to be a discussion about a transparency policy when a tragedy like this occurs, as well as a discussion of better student support while students process this. My friend was murdered, and students were expected to go back to school the next day and take exams like nothing happened. The school hasn't provided students with any resources that are actually helpful. All resources that have been provided lack availability outside of school and are only available for students for a limited period of time. I understand that GCC ISD policies are also dependent on the enforcement from the school, and the district cannot be held responsible if they are not enforced. However, there should be systems in place to ensure that these policies are being practiced. I don't believe I should have to stand in front of a school board and beg to be safe in school.
Time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Stringer. Our next speaker is Jesse Harden.
Good evening. Welcome, Dr. Rodriguez. And thank you for letting me speak. I'm Jesse Harden. I'm the president for Citizens for Strong Education, a community GPAC we've put in play to get truth and have a platform to be able to address certain community issues, and we sure have a big one now. We hear you, students. We're here to support you. We're here to join you. The Student Coalition, Safety Coalition, I congratulate you. You've done it well. You've done it respectfully, and you should be proud of yourself. What we're going to do is we are going to lobby for a state law that will help the district abide by the two consisting state laws that hurt us in this case. We want the another state law to state that the DA's office has to accept certain assault charges at certain levels and run it through the court system, through the criminal justice system, regardless of any classification, identification, or fragility of a student's case. And so that will take 12 to 18 months to get done. We invite the community, the students, the staff to come join us, help us write this law. We're going to call it Andrew's Law. In the meantime, we would like the school board to come up with a board policy until that law is in place that states that if the DA, for any reason, chooses not to accept an assault charge that our district police department has asked them to accept, and that student is protected under the two existing state laws that say that student can't be removed from campus, that student would have a one-on-one chaperone for the duration, adult chaperone on campus for the duration of whatever the time period our student handbook says would have been removed from that campus. I believe that will deter some of these behaviors when our hands are tied and we can't remove them. I believe having a babysitter walking around will keep them from going into bathrooms. And I think that some of them might not do anything at all because they don't want a babysitter.
30 seconds.
Got some high school kids. I don't think they want people following them around. Our next meeting is next Tuesday night. We will post the location, but I invite anybody, staff, board member, admin, parents, students, come help us. We need help. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Harden. Our fourth speaker is Jennifer Bennett.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Bennett. I'm here advocating for my friend, and almost a year ago, my son was falsely accused of assaulting a young lady, and before being asked a single question about the incident or even told the extent of what he was being accused of, he was slapped in handcuffs and charged with indecent assault. My son was not afforded due process. Sterling Administration and GCC ISD Police Department's investigation consisted of the young lady's statements and photos that court documents described as faint bruising. No witnesses, no proof. GCC ISD officers asked my 16-year-old son for his statement while away from his parents, being fingerprinted and photographed at Baytown PD. When he was released into our custody, we found out that the young lady who accused him of assaulting her had reached out to him on Instagram the same night he allegedly assaulted her, and the very next day at school, she approached him at the breakfast table to ask him to resize her for her uniform pants in ROTC, which would put her in the exact same place where she said she was assaulted. When she made her statement, she said she was too terrified of Gavin to be in the same room with him. So if this was the case, why was she seen on school cameras so confidently approaching him the very next day? The students at the table gave statements to the AP, and at the time the students said they felt like they were just there as a formality and even felt like the AP thought it was a joke. I found out that they were right when the AP called me and said that their statements didn't make any difference. Many people came to Gavin's defense, but it made no difference. After filing a formal complaint, the district did a Title IX investigation and found in Gavin's favor. We were able to take those findings to the DA, and after 6 months, the charges were dropped. Unfortunately, the damage was done, and my son's life was changed forever. I think it's extremely irresponsible for adults in power to be so careless with that power and to not ensure that all of the kids are considered equally. I was ready to let this go until my sweet friend's son was murdered last month, and I found out that this wasn't just a one-off bad decision by this AP. There have apparently been multiple bad decisions made and by him and the Sterling administration. I'm here to ask that y'all seriously look into this because it is unacceptable. The bad decisions that he made last year changed my son's future and put him on a different path than he would have thought his life was going to look like. But the bad choices that have been made concerning Andre cost Andrew his life.
Thank you, Ms. Bennett. Our final speaker for the evening is Kim Kostick.
Good evening. Good evening, President Campisi, Dr. Rodriguez, board. Today is a chance to be better. When I heard those words, they really resonated with me. It's a reminder that such a big truth can come from just a kid. I'm sure when he spoke that truth to his friends and family, he could never imagine that they would be spoken in front of you, reflecting on his memory. That's tough. I cannot imagine the pain that Chris and Becca feel. I came closer than I ever wished to experiencing that when I held my daughter's hand in ICU, wondering if she would ever wake up, and the district neglecting to keep her safe. Andrew calls us to be better, but you must be better before you can do better. And we can do better. You have an opportunity every day. Last week, I had an opportunity to meet with Dr. Rodriguez. And my hope is that you will keep your commitments, your integrity, and your ideas for this community to listen to us. I'm holding you to that. We all are. We've had leadership
1 minute.
that has left us wanting more. Dr. O'Brien asked me one time in a meeting what would make me happy, and my answer is the same today. For my phone to stop ringing, helping parents navigate through the system. 2 of your speakers I've worked with and assisted. We have to do better. We have passed laws as a community. We can do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kostek. Mr. Foxworth, I'll turn it back to you for recognitions and acknowledgements.
Okay, thank you, President Campisi. Each January, we honor the dedicated individuals who serve our communities as volunteers, our school board. School Board Recognition Month is an opportunity to show trustees how much we appreciate their work, leadership, and commitment to improving our schools. As we celebrate this evening, we're reminded that your leadership impacts close to 24,000 students across Goose Creek CISD. The posters displayed in this room created by our campuses are small but heartfelt expressions of our gratitude felt throughout our district. Also in your folder, you have the Goose Creek CISD School Board Recognition Month proclamation and a thumb drive with the 2026 School Board Recognition video. On behalf of our staff, our students, our families, and community, thank you for your dedication, your leadership, and your service. Please join me in applauding our Board of Trustees for the extraordinary work that they do every day. Okay, next we have a proclamation from the City of Baytown, our Mayor Charles Johnson.
Welcome, Mayor Johnson.
How you doing tonight?
Doing well, sir. Good to see you again. Thank you
Good
for
deal.
coming.
It's good to see you also. How's everyone in here feeling tonight? How are you feeling tonight? We are here this great day after celebrating Martin Luther King Day. And I don't think it's a coincidence that School Board Recognition Month is the same month that we celebrate Martin Luther King Day. And I say that because Martin Luther King shared some quotes that talked about service and leadership. life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? And what I've seen from our school board, knowing some of them personally, some of them played a vital part in my life growing up as a child, I've seen them answer the question with action, what are they doing for others? And a lot of that is influencing and contributing to those around us, especially our young people. Now, Dr. King also said everyone has an opportunity to be great because everyone has an opportunity to serve. And I'm here to say thank you tonight for the service that you all have given to our community. I'm saying thank you for your service, and I'm also saying thank you for being great because you serve. Now, what I have here with me is a proclamation from the city of Baytown. Now, proclamations can be long, so I'm just going to give you a heads up. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whereases. Okay, so you can count down those whereases so that you will know when I'm getting to the end. Can we do that? I mean, most of us went through GCCISD, and I know for a fact we can count to 5. Okay? Proclamation, City of Baytown, Goose Creek CISD School Board Recognition Month. Whereas, that's number 1, the mission of public schools is to meet the educational needs of all children and to empower them to become competent, productive contributors to a democratic society and an ever-changing world. And whereas, 2, local school board members are elected by their community members to do what's best for students. And whereas, local school board members work closely with parents, educational professionals, and other community members to create the educational vision we want for our students. And whereas, local school board members are responsible for ensuring the structure that provides a solid foundation for our school system. And whereas, local school board members are strong advocates for public education and are responsible for communicating the needs of the school district to the public and the public's expectations to the district. Now, therefore, I, Charles Johnson, Mayor of Baytown, do hereby declare my appreciation to the members of the Goose Creek CISD School Board and proclaim January 2026 as School Board Recognition Month in Goose Creek CISD and urge all citizens to join me in recognizing the dedication and hard work of local school board members and working with them to mold an education system that meets the needs of both today's and tomorrow's children. Once again, thank you for your service and thank you for being great because of your service.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson.
Carrie, you may want to keep them there. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mayor Johnson. We appreciate you. Next, we have a proclamation from the Harris County Precinct 3 Commissioner Tom Ramsey's office, Mr. Lawrence Bell, Community Involvement.
Thank you. Mayor Johnson, you did such a great job. Would you like to read mine? let me just take briefly, in light of the tragedy that recently happened, it reminds me of what my uncle said. He was a Baptist minister, and I asked him one time, why do some people live and some people die? And he said, as he used to say, son, there's some things in life that you will never understand, you never figure out. Cherish the memories, but life goes on, but you'll never understand why that happened. Okay. Now, congratulations, Board of Trustees. On behalf of the Honorable Commissioner Tom Ramsey, he recognizes you this day, January 2026. Your dedication to and steward to the educational experience for students in the community is truly making the district a wonderful place to live and learn. Thank you for your invaluable contributions to the board, as to the service, to the board, the faculty, students, and families, our constituents, and I wish you continued success in Harris County. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bell. Next, we have certificates from Harris County Precinct 2 Commissioner Adrian Garcia's office, Ms. Gretchen Knowles, Community Relations Liaison.
Thank you. Whoops, gotta lower this, that's a little bit too low. There we go, thank you. So good evening, everyone. Good evening, Superintendent and School Board. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of Commissioner Garcia, as always. First, just want to let the crowd know you may not understand that your Harris County precincts, you've got 2 commissioners in Baytown. So you've got the privilege of Commissioner Ramsey and Commissioner Garcia. So I just wanted to let you know that. It's always personal to me when I'm here representing Commissioner, because my dad went to Cedar Bayou High School, if you even knew that it was a high school back in the day. And my mom went to Lee. My kids went to Lee. I went to Sterling. So, we're a family of giants. Well, not me, I'm short, but but anyway, I wanted to mention it was a pleasure to meet you last month, and welcome to the land of giants. We've got a good thing going here. So, and I appreciate all the hard work that you do. I have, Ms. Garcia placed a certificate on everybody's spot up there except for Miss Helen. I have yours. You're special. So I just wanted to read what we had prepared for all of you, and we appreciate your hard work and your dedication to this community and to the children, the students, faculty, to everybody. All right, Certificate of Appreciation presented on the 20th day of January 2026 to all of the Board of Trustees in recognition of your outstanding performance, dedicated commitment, and excellence in service to the school board. Your hard work and leadership serve as an inspiration to others and reflect the highest standard of success in public service. Commissioner Adrian Garcia and residents of Precinct 2 congratulate you for your accomplishments and thank you for your continued dedication to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Knowles. They have the resolution. Okay, school board, at your desk, you should also have a resolution from our state representative, District 143, the Honorable Anna E. Hernandez. Now, Dr. Sarah Lawrence, Associate Director of K-12 English Language Arts, K-5 Social Studies, and Library Services.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, President Campisi, and Dr. Rodriguez. On behalf of Goose Creek CISD, we want to take a moment to express our gratitude for your commitment and leadership. Your dedication ensures that our students have the resources and opportunities they need to succeed. In celebration of School Board Appreciation Month, each campus library in Goose Creek CISD will be dedicating a book in honor of our Board of Trustees. These books will serve as a lasting symbol of your impact on education and your support of literacy and learning across our district. A list of these books selected by our librarians has been included in your agenda this evening, and we'd like to thank you for your service and for making a difference in the lives of our students, staff, and community. Thank you.
Good evening, President Campisi, Dr. Rodriguez, Board. I'm honored here to talk about and celebrate United Way and our campaign in Goose Creek CISD. We've had a long-standing relationship with the United Way, Greater Baytown and Chambers County in support of our students and their families. Goose Creek employees this year raised a total of $51,614 to support United's Way mission to help our community, and a total of 1,001 employees donated. Let's give a round of applause. To help with our recognition this evening, I'm honored to have Ms. Rebold with us here today. She's the CEO of United Way. We appreciate everyone's commitment to this year's campaign, but there are 6 campuses here today who excelled in 2 categories: highest employee participation and highest monetary contribution. When I call your name in campus, please come to the front. For highest employee participation, awarded at the 3rd highest employee participation, is Point Alternative Center at 50%. The principal is Mr. Kimball, and the United Way campaign coordinator is Ms. Hawkless. Ms. Chu, thank you for being here today. Awarded at the 2nd highest employee participation is Clark Elementary at 70%. The principal is Ms. Scheit, and the campaign coordinator is Ms. Schramm. And awarded at the highest employee participation is Highlands Elementary at 85%. The principal is Ms. Capatillo, and the campaign coordinator is Ms. Stripling. Our next category is highest monetary contribution. Our small campus category, ranging from 1 employee to 85 employees, the highest contributor was Impact Early College High School, donating $2,095. The campaign coordinator and the principal at Impact is Ms. Reyes. For our medium campus category, ranging from 86 to 115 employees, the highest contributor was Pumphrey Elementary, donating $3,027. The campaign coordinator at Pumphrey is Ms. Grimes, and the principal is Mr. Smith. And last, for large campus category, ranging from 116 employees to 259, our highest contributor was Robert E. Lee High School, donating $5,135. Principals, Mr. Brooks, Ms. Jackson's with us here tonight, and Ms. Guerrero is the campaign coordinator, along with Ms. Vigil. Thank you so much to our campuses, to our staff for supporting United Way. Thank you, United Way, for supporting our students and family and for an incredible campaign this year. Thank you.
Okay, President Campisi, turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Foxworth. That concludes recognitions and acknowledgements. We'll move on to item number 5, approval of minutes. We have before us regular board meeting minutes for December 15th, 2025. They've been provided prior to this meeting for review and approval.
I'll move to approve the minutes from
Second.
December 15th.
I have a motion by Mrs. Guy and a second by Ms. Barat-Timms to approve December 15, 2025 regular board meeting minutes. Is there any discussion at this time? Seeing none, all in favor signify by raising your hand. Seeing 7 for and 0 against, the motion passes. We'll move on to item number 6, discussion items. At this time, I'll turn it over to Dr. Rodriguez. Before you begin, Dr. Rodriguez, I'd like to welcome you to your first board meeting at Goose Creek. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight we have 4 reports for the superintendent's reports. I do want to share with the Board of Trustees, administration, and the audience. The first is the Student Safety Advisory Committee. This was created after a meeting with the coalition that was created by some of our students here in the community. I do want to say that the advisory was put together with members of the coalition and members of Sterling High School, with one other student that is currently at one of our other high schools. We've had the pleasure to have multiple conversations. We did have some activities, and we have ended up in a very good place considering all the information that has been made available. So at this moment in time, I'm going to pass it on to Mrs. Kendall David, and she's going to kick us off with the presentation.
Good evening again, President Campisi, Dr. Rodriguez, and our board. We are very pleased today to present to you the Student Safety Advisory Committee work that not only the incredible students that are sitting up here with me today have worked on, but also the Baytown Safety Coalition, as well as some audience members who participated in the advisory committee. Before we start the presentation, I just want to note these students have really done a great job in providing feedback for our district so that we can get better, so that we can learn from the tragic events, and so that we can move forward with being better in mind. Before I start introductions, my name is Kendall David. I'm the Executive Director of Community Engagement for Goose Creek. And before I let the table introduce themselves, I want to note that we do have members of the Student Safety Advisory Committee in the audience, if you'll stand, as well as Sterling Administration.
Oh, I'm Joanna Fugate. I'm a senior at Sterling High School, and I am a part of the Baytown School Safety Coalition.
My name is Ace Ellis. I'm a senior at Sterling High School, and I'm also a member of the Baytown Student Safety Coalition.
Kevin Foxworth, Area Executive Director. Yes, sir. Kevin Foxworth, Area Executive Director.
So first, we want to give a brief overview before our students really get into the meat of the presentation. We met with 14 students from the Baytown Safety Coalition and RSS student leaders last Tuesday on January 13th. This group did an incredible job at giving us feedback. They established meeting norms, which they were incredible at following. In addition to that, we really focused on solutions through structured activities, through intentional questions and conversations that were all student-led. Those questions and activities revolved around the work that was previously done by the Baytown Safety Coalition that really gave us some priorities to focus on. In addition to that, students had a lot of really great ideas, which you'll see towards the end of the presentation in our summary. But we really wanted students to tell us what are the primary focus areas that we need to look at right now. And they did a great job at creating those priorities within all of the conversations we had on last week.
So our purpose in being here today and speaking to you all is to center student voice, improve safety, trust, and accountability, and help the district make better decisions informed by lived experience. I believe, and we all believe here, that it is very important for students to be able to use their voices and their experiences to help affect the policies that will be affecting them. Thank you so much.
Okay, so the Baytown Safety Coalition, at the town hall meeting, we talked about our desired outcomes, and we covered 3 main points, and those were campus behavior coordinator, stronger alternative education program, and transparency with students and staff.
After the town hall meeting that the coalition held and the gallery walk with the Student Safety Advisory, like Joanna said, we came up with 3 main priorities. And within those priorities, we found the main things that we wanted to cover within those goals.
The first being campus behavior coordinator. We'd like to see someone who's specialized in behavior and discipline only meaning they aren't worried about dealing with other responsibilities that come with being a principal or administrator. We want someone focused. They would communicate behavior information, meaning we don't really know what happens whenever there are behavior issues. We want to know what comes out of that. I want to know what happens after a fight or someone gets caught with a vape. I don't know what happens. They should be trained in de-escalation. That loops back to that they should be specialized in behavior and discipline. We also believe that we should prioritize restroom policies first. I think that a lot of problems loop back to the restroom, whether like we don't know what's going on in there, we want to focus on that.
So following that, we also would like stronger alternative education programs. such as consistent discipline throughout the student body, no matter your history of disciplinary actions. We would like to see a consistent discipline for all students. We would also like understanding of how discipline is assigned. A lot of students do not understand the consequences that other students may receive for something such as a fight or being caught with something they shouldn't be having, like a vape or a weapon. We don't know what happens to those students, and I believe that we would feel safer if we did know. We would also like purposeful instructional approaches tailored to the needs of students. We believe that at the Point Alternative Education Program, we need to be more focused on the educational aspect of that school, because it is still a school. While it is also a rehabilitation center, education is very important there. We would also like more transparency with students and staff, and that would look like specific announcements giving more detail in real time. As a possible crisis is unfolding, we as students would like more information on what is happening so there is less panic, there are less rumors. Less rumors means there's less anxiety with the student body. We would also like staff to communicate confirmed information and district communication. Again, circling back, we would like staff to communicate with us as students on confirmed information that they are receiving from outside sources. We would also like to see more updates on social media as students. Social media is a very important way of communication for us. We get weather updates on the GCCISD Instagram page and Facebook. So we'd also like to see information regarding our own safety.
Okay, so a concern, or I'd say a priority, is the campus behavior coordinator. The summary is that students feel behavior issues are handled inconsistently, with no single person really owning the response. So students strongly support a designated staff member trained on de-escalation, crisis response, and consistent discipline. The administrative actions are that the state has mandated by the Texas Education Code 37.0012 the designation of a campus behavior coordinator. So currently, the principal is listed as the CBC, the Campus Behavior Coordinator. The principal currently works with the assistant principals to review data, referrals, and enforce the student code of conduct is the current system. The next action is to review the role of the campus coordinator and ensure the responsibilities really are reflecting the student needs. So we want to work with our student safety advisory team here and get feedback from our students regarding this CBC role and then potential changes. And then the last bullet here is to continue the student safety advisory work at all campuses with involvement of the CBC, Campus Behavior Coordinator. So we're working to develop some meeting dates, and we're looking for representation eventually from all campuses working with the student advisory team. The next priority is a stronger alternative education program. So the summary is that students are unclear about what happens when peers are removed from campus and how those decisions are made. Students support the alternative placements that focus on reflection, mental health, support, and really readiness to return back. Administrative actions are going to include it's an internal review of our discipline and removal practices for all general education students and students receiving special education services. So we're helping everyone to understand what the law will allow and what the law won't allow at this time. We're going to review that. The second bullet is to review the current student code of conduct and discipline practices with our Student Safety Advisory Committee. So an exercise could be providing scenarios with the committee, asking them, what do you think should happen? Why do you think that should happen? Review best practices at Point. More than anything, it's really increasing communication and understanding, which in turn is going to raise the level of trust between students and administration. And then the last bullet there is really to share rehabilitation strategies at point with our Student Safety Advisory Committee for their review and feedback. So currently we have like Communities in Schools, Edgenuity, Character Strong, skills streaming, which is a curriculum based on conflict resolution and problem solving. We have transition meetings between the assistant principals and counselors when kids are moved back and forth. There's drug counseling programs. There are a number of programs that that we want to make aware to the Student Safety Advisory Team, but we also want to get their feedback on what could be better and how we could change things to make things better for our district and for our kids.
And then the last concern is transparency with students and staff. Ultimately, the summary from their feedback is that silence feels unsafe. Even though action is happening, students don't expect full details, but they do need acknowledgement. They need timely communication and reassurance. When information is delayed or unclear, rumors and fear fill the gap, and we're aware of that. They want consistent messaging through announcements, through their staff, their teachers, Parent Square, and the district social media. So the great thing is about this concern is we've taken a lot of these action based on the discussions that we've had with these students. Sending alerts and messages that are sent through Parent Square typically to our families and our staff, including those secondary students in our Parent Square messaging. We've actually done this a couple of times since we met with our advisory committee, and it's had a very positive response in keeping students in the know. We want to provide training and resources to our administrative staff on campus for clear messaging for announcements during a crisis. So templates and resources on what to say to be more clear when announcements occur in a crisis. And then one thing that we have, since meeting with the students, put in place is on our website, all communication updates at all of our campuses will be available for the entire community. If you go to our website, on that top banner where it says News Hub, there's within that page, district letters and alerts. We've initiated that for January already, and there's multiple that have been posted. So we're working on training our community to go there. If they hear any type of crisis or incident, they can find an update. And then last, to be more intentional about posting communication updates on social media. So next steps, one thing to note is we met with students a week ago. We still have a lot of work. There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of discussions to be had. We have to involve many different departments in these administrative actions. We need to align across student support, discipline, safety, and the communication team to make sure we're meeting the student needs. So that work is coming. But most importantly, scheduling follow-up meetings in the coming weeks with the Student Safety Advisory Committee really to review the progress. We still need a lot of feedback on these actions and really to refine next steps and make sure that they understand what we're doing and get their feedback on if they agree with those next steps. Thank you, and at this time, we'll take any questions.
Before we start with questions, I did not hear the students' names. Could y'all repeat them one more time for us, please?
My name is Ace Ellis.
Welcome, Ace.
My name is Joanna Fugate.
Welcome, Joanna. I usually go to the board first, but before I go to them for questions, I want to thank you and applaud you for having the courage, the wisdom, the knowledge, and just the ambition to step up and take a situation and turn it into progress. What can we learn from it? What can we do better? I applaud you, and I'm sure all of my colleagues up here behind this desk applaud you for doing that because we are listening. We're listening loud and clear. I've sat, before I became a trustee, I sat in Miss Kendall's committee meetings, and I know she runs very good meetings, and she'll find a way to get you to say the things you're not ready to say or you don't feel comfortable saying. She'll bring it out. So I have a lot of trust in the process, and I want you to just keep the conversation going. This is not the end of it. This is truly the beginning. With that, Board, I'll turn it over to y'all for questions.
I have a quick one. Okay, Matt, I don't know what's going on with my mic, but we're gonna make it work. One of the things when I read here and heard from you guys, you talked about the risk and things like that. But one of the questions that I do have is any significant safety risks that are unseen that we should be concerned about or looking for that may not be listed, but we have to know the factors. Is it social media, things like you talked a little about that, Ace, but anything that significantly stands out that are the unseen safety risks?
I believe, like something we mentioned, restrooms are a big thing. A lot of the incidents that occur in schools happen when students are out of the classroom, when students are not being supervised. So we would just like to see policies, rules to make sure that students are being observed and that they are not going unseen to go do things that are against the rules, that are dangerous. So I think something that we did not address today would be students being outside of the classroom can sometimes be unsafe.
Thank you. I was just at a campus the other day and I was so moved by they had a bathroom monitor, a staff person. So I know that's happening at some of our campuses, and I applaud that school when I was there visiting. One last thing, and that may be Mr. Foxworth or you, Kendall. How will success be measured? Meaning, like reporting, will it be reduced? We'll look at reduced incidents, as we move forward. That may be putting the horse before the cart, but.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think really it's going to, once we get to the point where we take administrative action on a lot of the recommendations that we've looked at, it's really by the student work and their feedback. And I think for me and Mr. Foxworth and the committee, I think that will look like, are we responding to the student needs? And so if you notice in the posters on the summary, they have a lot of information that wasn't in their top priority list. And so we anticipate students giving us a lot of feedback, just like Ace mentioned about unmonitored areas. We want to be very intentional with that feedback and ensure that we are taking action on that. And that will be led by the campus behavior coordinator and the committee work that our campuses will engage in.
All right. Good evening. Thank you for being here. And I had the privilege of attending your meeting over at the Love UMC, and I was very impressed with the way you conducted the meeting. I hope, and this may be, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but so this may be food for your next meeting or two, but I feel that we need to educate all of us, administration, board, and students on what our state and federal laws do and don't allow. But we also need to collectively investigate our own GCC ISD board policies and make sure we have policies in place that need to be there, but more importantly, that there's nothing holding us back from what you guys need. So in your spare time when you can't sleep at night, read board policy and find those things for us and report back to us, because local policies are the easiest things for us to put in place to help you or to take away to help you. Thank you for your work.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we will definitely, we've been looking into those things. It's definitely something that we're keeping in the forefront of our minds. These policies and laws are very important. Thank you so much for your comment.
Any more questions from my right?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I would like to make a comment, and it's something I share with the students. The world that we live in today is filled with a lot of problem announcers, and we had this discussion. It's just society today. But today you heard from students and from community members that want to be problem solvers. Problem announcers, and there's problem solvers. And I just want to say how appreciative I am of the students, because if you look at the common theme, they have aligned themselves with what the community members have said. They want to be a part of the solution. They want to help solve problems. So the students that are here up front, of course, the two that are in the back, at least I saw two stand up. I am extremely hopeful for the future when we can have students sit here in a full house in front of a board having a very professional conversation about solving problems and not just announcing them on social media. So I want to applaud the students. I want to applaud the coalition and all the community members that spoke today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I do have a comment also. I didn't have a question, so I didn't say nothing, but I do have a comment. One of the things that I'd like to see, and I don't know if it's possible, but I would like to see this committee work in conjunction with the bullying program that we have that has been recognized by the state. I would like to see more partnership from the community like we're having right now, which we had before, but for some reason they wanted to do away with community participating. And I really do believe that we dropped the ball right there with that, and we need to continue and reinstitute that partnership with the community, and now even the students. So I think that would help. I agree. I think we need to work on our communication skills when something of this seriousness happens, and I think that we need a lot of work on that area. I do also think that we need to, something that wasn't mentioned was drugs and the drug policy. Now, I know this thing came up in this situation that it was a vape issue, but don't take me but I just heard that it was more than just a vape. It was a drug issue, and drug money being exchanged in the bathrooms. And so specifically marijuana, they were smoking marijuana with the vapes, and this was an issue. Why do I bring this up right now? Because it's important. And these are the things, the unseen things that are happening that these students know about, but didn't really say anything about. So I bring it up. I went to Robert Lee. I know what happens in the hallways and in the bathrooms and on the way home, on the buses. And so I really do think we do have a large bullying program that meets every quarterly. And I would like to also, say that we need to meet quarterly with this committee also, And I agree. I was at the meeting, the community meeting with Richard Clem and Dr. Rodriguez, and I enjoyed hearing that, and I thank you for what you're doing. And I think it's going to help in the future. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
Thank y'all again.
Yes, sir. Next, we have the Education Foundation annual update.
Good evening, President Campisi, members of the Board of Trustees, and Dr. Rodriguez. Thank you so much for inviting us tonight to share a very brief update on the Education Foundation. I am Dr. Anna Espinoza. I am the Director of the Education Foundation and Partnerships, and with me tonight is Adelina Gomez-Abshire. She is our second year Education Foundation Board President. So tonight is going to be a very brief snapshot of the impact, growth, and direction that we are headed with the Education Foundation.
Good evening. As Anna mentioned, I'm Adelina Gomez-Abshire. And tonight we're gonna talk about the foundation, and some of you are part of the board, and thank you for your contribution. Our mission, why does the Education Foundation matters? We focus on equipping our educators with innovative and transforming learning, our students, inspiring engagement through meaningful hands-on experiences, and community, turning community support into lasting classroom impact.
Since its inception in 2009, we have given back to the district over $2.6 million in innovative teaching grants, in-kind donations, and designated donations. But for tonight, we're going to talk specifically about the 2024-2025 school year, since this is our annual report. Our Innovative Teaching Grant Program is the largest thing that we do within the Education Foundation. And last year, we were lucky enough to give back to the district $195,000, and that is direct classroom support. That support ended up supporting 102 teachers across the district at 18 different campuses. In addition to the Innovative Teaching Grant Program, we gave away $112,000 in designated donations for targeted programs. So those programs, examples of that would be STEM initiatives, elementary school family nights, our Partners in Education program run by the Chamber. So that is a reflection of how much our community trusts our foundation and the partnership that we have built with the community. All right, my favorite slide, I get to talk about our programming. Some of you have attended our programs and you know how wonderful they can be. I do want to start with our Students' Choice Awards. In your packet tonight, you should have received an invitation to that event in February, and if you can't attend any but one of our events throughout the year, I hope it's this one. Those in the audience who have been to this event know just how special it is. This event starts when we ask our senior students to write a letter about the most impactful teacher that they have had throughout their educational journey. From those letters this year we received 598 letters. It was a record. And from those letters, we have our marketing committee read them, and they select the top 15 letters. Then we hold a banquet in honor of the teachers as well as the students who wrote the letters, and it is such a special night. So please consider joining us for that event. In the top right-hand corner, you'll see we combined our innovative teaching grants with our giant grant giveaway, because that is a true beginning to end event. So it starts with our innovative teaching grant application, which is actually open now. And then it will conclude the first Friday in May with our giant grant giveaway, where we get on school buses and we go surprise the teachers who are the recipients of the grant for the next year. The bottom left-hand corner has our Get on the Bus campaign. That is our employee giving campaign where we empower our educators to give directly back to student learning. And that starts as small as $2.50 a paycheck. And then finally, we have our Evening of Excellence Gala, and that's the night that's our largest fundraiser, and it is a night that really fuels the innovation with our community. It is a fun night, but we always look at it from the lens of we want our community to show up and leave that night knowing more about what we do in Goose Creek CISD than what they knew when they got there.
This is one of my favorite ones, the teacher impact stories. We get, how many applications, Anna, do we get?
We get about 140 every year.
140, and we have the privilege of having a committee that will take their time and read them. And from that, we select as many as we can fund that fall within the guidelines. And this year, I'm gonna go ahead and share 3 of them. The first one is from our Impact High School. The program is about Texas Success Initiative. It encourages students to prep for a test that they have to pass. Anna, you want to talk more about that initiative?
It's the TSIA exam. It's Texas's college entrance exam that our students take either to get into college or to get into their dual credit classes.
And the second one is the VR. It's a classroom innovative grant that allows the students to have a virtual experience in many aspects. So for the students that cannot have those in-person experience, they are able to have that with the VR technology. Is there anything else that you want to add to that? No. And our third one that we have here is art. It's needling with felt in a unique way that allows the students to have that, they're able to bring their project live. And I want to say thank you to those students because we did receive a thank you postcard as sponsors, and that was a great way of showcasing some of the students' initiatives. So that was a really great way to see that happen.
It was really hard for me to give those thank you cards away because I knew how much time had gone into them preparing those. They were really, really nice. So next up is our community support. We couldn't do anything in the foundation without that community support. And that's really one of the beautiful things about Baytown in general, is because we do have so many businesses and industry partners who believe in the mission of the Education Foundation. And that's reflective of how many of them sit on our board. The Education Foundation has a board of 33 individuals, and many of them are directly from our business and industry locally. So you can see on the screen our top 5 sponsors this year were Hotchkiss Disposal Service, Patients Emergency Room and Hospital, HEB, Community, Toyota, Honda, Kia, and Covestro. But on top of those 5, we had another 45 local sponsors, as well as a multitude of memorial donations and individual contributions this year that made everything that we did possible. And then our strategic growth, I want you to know where we're headed as a foundation. And this slide really kind of represents the behind the scenes work that strengthens our foundation. So it shows how we're becoming more intentional, structured, and financially responsible. So this summer, we met as an Education Foundation board and created our 2025 to 2030 strategic plan to mirror the needs of the school district. And that was led by Ms. David from our community engagement team, and she did a wonderful job facilitating that for us. And then next we have our investment strategy implemented. This was where we took steps also this summer to conservatively invest some of the funds that had built up in the foundation's bank account so that we could gain interest revenue off of that. It's not something we're going to get rich doing, but we felt like it was time. We had enough of a nest egg built up that we could start to invest that money conservatively. Next, we have an expansion of restricted accounts. 2 years ago, we only had 1 restricted account for Special Olympics. And I'm very proud to say that as of now, we've already added or we are in the process of adding an additional 4 restricted accounts. And that really allows our donors to support specific programs or initiatives within the district over time. It's not something that we designate directly back in one lump sum. It's something that we house within the foundation and we can give it out over time. So we're really proud of that growth that we've had within the last year. Next, we have strengthened financial stewardship, and that's just that we really try to be thoughtful, responsible, and conservative in the management of our funds to make sure that we protect that donor trust and the relationships that we've built with our partners in the community so that they continue to want to give back to the foundation. And then finally, the infrastructure to support sustainable growth. We've grown substantially since we were a group of volunteers in 2009 to what we have today. And so we've intentionally grown our efficiency, and we've put a lot of systems in place that will allow us to grow so that we can expand responsibly as the years go by for the long-term benefit of Goose Creek.
And as we continue to look ahead, we continue to focus on and deepening the classroom impact that we have through our educators. And as Anna mentioned, strengthening our financial support that we do get in and expanding our community engagement. Those are vital to the foundation and to the board members. Thank you so much for your time.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Sure. That's before my time, but I know that it was set up by the family of Keith Holt, and it's set aside to where we can restrict an account once we have $5,000 set up for that specific initiative. And so they continually put funds into that account so that we can then give it back to our Special Olympics. And we actually gave some back last year to them. They just fill out an application and then it goes to our programs committee and they vote. I believe you're on the programs committee. And so we send out whatever that need is and then they vote on whether or not to fund it.
I have a question. What are some of the other restricted accounts that y'all are working on?
So one of them that was set up recently was from ExxonMobil, and it was to establish kind of an incentive for teacher professional development through gas cards. So our curriculum and instruction team wrote that grant application directly to Exxon, and so we were able to fund that last year for professional development outside of the regular work hours. And we are currently working on 2 memorial restricted accounts that we will hopefully vote on in a couple of weeks at the next meeting. And then the 5th one is from Chevron, and that will eventually be restricted to STEM initiatives, but more on the teacher professional development side as well. We're really trying to bring as much of that as we can into growing our educators, hoping to prepare in the long term in our strategic plan for an endowment.
Any other comments?
Yeah, the gala, when is that?
We don't have a date set for this coming fall. It's usually in November, though. So we have a request to change the weekend, but I also have to stay away from deer season. So
I don't hunt. But
You know, at the beginning of your presentation, you talked about the Student Choice Awards, and I had the honor, privilege, and pleasure of attending that last year. And it was extremely moving how these students, number one, speak so highly about a teacher that has touched their lives. And it's a very emotional moment. But the way it's presented, where they surprise them on camera and they come in and each student comes and speaks, it's an amazing program. I hope to attend again coming in February. But I've also been to the gala, and both events that I've been to are really great events. And they do showcase our district really well.
Thank you.
I missed last year, but I went to Pat Green. That was pretty good. I liked that. Had a good time.
Ms. Absher, thank you so much for your work on that board, on the foundation. It is well noticed by our board. And Dr. Espinoza Garcia, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let us know. We'll be there.
Next, we have our January data update. Last month was the first update that was presented to the board and to the community, and now we have Dr. Jackson and some of our campus principals.
Welcome, and as you're getting set up, I'd just like to remind everyone when you're speaking to please speak into the microphone and make sure it's turned on in green so everyone can hear.
Okay, good evening, President Campese, Dr. Rodriguez, and the board. We are back again, and so per your request, and keep them coming, we have all of our current 10 principals that were here last time. So if I can ask y'all to stand up, my rock star principals there. So the first slide that we'll go through will have their data update. And so at any time they are there and ready and willing. And I think Blanca really wants to come up here because her chair said presenter. And so they're willing to come up and answer any questions that you have specifically on that campus. And then I have brought 5 new, 3 elementary and 2 secondary to look at some other campuses to highlight. So to start off with, once again, what you saw was up to the last. So right now, when we look at this last column here, you're going to see that that's cumulative to the fall benchmark. So what you are missing now is the MOI, and they have until January 30th to take that MAP MOI. And so when we come back the next time, you will have a really, really good look at what we predict. Also on February the 9th and the 10th, we will be meeting with the secondary on the 9th and the elementary on the 10th to really dive in deep, and we'll spend the whole day with the principals in Texas A&B. So if some of you want to stop by, feel free. And we'll be able to give them their prediction for Domain 1, Domain 2, and Domain 3, looking at growth as well as relative performance. So that will be a really big update that you'll get after that meeting. So first, we'll talk about our 10 principals and their campuses that we brought before, and you can see where we ended and exactly what we're looking at as far as now having the cumulative benchmark. Every single campus is progressing. We're excited to see that. I'm not going to get too excited till I get that MOI data, but this does show great improvements. So before I go on, do y'all have any questions for any principal of the 10 that we brought up last time?
Dr. Jackson, for the benefit of everyone in the room that doesn't know the acronyms, MOI?
Middle of the year
Thank
screener. Yes, thank you. Sorry about that. Anybody else? Okay, so now to move on to our current highlighted, we'll start off with Crockett first. I'll pass it to Ms. Anawan, and I'll let her shed some thoughts on her campus.
So I was asked to talk about some things that I want to celebrate on my campus, and one of the things I want to celebrate is my teachers. I think they've done a remarkable job with the rezone and implementation of a new curriculum this school year. So, you know, they've just dove into it with flexibility, creativity, and just, you know, unwillingness to let any kid fall behind. So their commitment to academic excellence for all kids is something that I would really love to celebrate. And when we're talking about things that we're still working on, one of the challenges has been, where do we find time to address the gaps of students who are significantly below level, because we know that Bluebonnet instruction is given at each grade level. So you do have those transfers and other students who come in who are significantly below level. So one of the things that we are doing, we're being creative with our duty schedules. So we're pulling staff members off of duty in the morning and having them do mini lessons. We're using all staff available to make sure that we can close the gaps. I put in a request to Ginger McKay for more funding for tutorials, because we did have a significant increase in our economically disadvantaged population, and she is working with me to get that set up as well. We're about 50-50 in the rezone. So about 50% of our students left, and we had about 50% come in. So they've been able to maintain that consistency and that growth throughout that significant change.
Any question for Crockett?
So you lost half your kids and got, okay, was that a norm or is that an anomaly?
That was the rezone that was voted on. It was for her campus. It was huge.
Yeah. Did other campuses affect that much?
Carver and Asheville Smith did, and Bowie got quite a bit of different. They actually lost a lot of kids.
We lost a lot of kids to Bowie.
Thank you.
Okay, I will pass it on to Alamo. And she's a new principal, so make sure you introduce yourself.
Yes, so my name is Elena Rivera. I am the proud principal of Alamo Elementary. I'm very excited to be serving that community. One thing that I'm very proud about is our teachers. It's really hard as a new administrator coming in because, you know, we hear all about, well, this was done this way, this was done this way, but they have been very receptive, very open to me. I've seen them celebrate, I've seen them cry. Bluebonnet has been a challenge for them, but they have not given up. They still are very committed, coming to work every day, ensuring that our kids are getting what they need, and ensuring that they understand our curriculum the best that they can so they can deliver that instructional piece, correctly and making an impact. I'm sorry. And then for our grow, one thing that we are working on is that productive struggle for our students. As teachers, we are always used to jumping in and saving our students because we don't want them to fail. Nobody likes to fail. So it has been a struggle letting them know that it's okay to struggle. It's okay to try to figure things out. And that is one of the goals that we have spoken about. We talk about it in our PLCs and in our internalization meetings. So that way we are all speaking the same language, that it's okay to struggle, but we're all going to end up better for it on the other side.
Questions for Alamo? Okay, I'm going to move it down. Mark, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Mark Gorena. I'm the principal at San Jacinto, and just honored for this privilege to share this information with all of you. One of the things I'd like to celebrate is at the end of last school year, our STAR scores in science reflected a downturn. And I'm glad to report that the middle of the year MOI data, the screener, shows an upward tick in our success, our fifth grade science scores, and we are tracking toward the top of the district. So very proud of our science scores. And I want to just thank Kim Hillis and the district coordinators and directors for supporting us so freely and greatly. Also, our third and fourth grade math. I've had the privilege of working with Amy Henderson and Samantha Hernandez, and they've come and met with us to disaggregate data and implement some strategies that have continued to have an upward tick in those areas as well. So I'm grateful for the support that we get from our district. One of the real concerns, the growth and the opportunities, I don't like to call them problems, I call them opportunities, right, is our staffing stability. San Jacinto, over the past several years, has had a high turnover in staff. When I was asked to lead that school this past June, I inherited a lot of vacant spots. In fact, this year we started with 24 new faces in the instructional and leadership face of the school. That's a fourth of our entire staff. And in spite of that, we're still able to make great gains in certain areas in instruction. However, looking forward, I am seeing some more opportunity. We have quite a few people, an unusual amount of people planning to retire this year. We have several spots of uncertified or not fully certified teachers. We have 2 long-term sub positions. I had 2 teachers quit before Christmas. So I have the potential of needing to hire 11 to 13 more people for next year. Okay, so it's a real opportunity, but in spite of all that, I'm really proud of the success that we've maintained. Last year, San Jacinto was a C campus. We're tracking at a C. Still, I'd like to make that move upward. But in light of the 24 new faces, in light of the current staffing instability that we have, I'm excited to see that we are going in the right direction in that way. Yes, the 24 was paras and professional staff. And this year I've also had, of the three paraprofessionals have either quit or been promoted, and I'm glad to say they were promoted, but I'm hiring those as well. So lot of movement, not only with our students, but with our staff as well.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
So why are we not replacing the staff members?
Well,
you said till next year.
Oh no, they haven't resigned yet.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes, sir. That's for next year. They've informed me that they're
gonna leave.
They're going to retire this year. Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Mark? Okay, so I want to thank Ms. Thomas and Dr. Conklin for overseeing these campuses and working closely with them as well. So we'll move to the secondary.
Thank you.
Elementary, so we're gonna come visit y'all.
So I'll welcome Dr. Babin from E.F. Green and Ms. Start from GCM up here and let them share some words of wisdom about their campus. Dr. Babin?
Good evening, President Campisi, Dr. Rodriguez, and the school board. Certainly thank you for your time and this opportunity. I'm honored to share that in our first 5 years, this is year 5 for us. So in our 5 years of existence, we have evidence of our collaborative efforts here at E.F. Green Junior School. We are an Apple Distinguished Campus. We are an avid demonstration school. We're focused on transitioning our students from learning to read to reading to learn. Currently in our dyslexia program, 100% of our students are demonstrating growth. When students read to learn, one of the things you understand is they can absorb information in all content areas. That's important because it led to us establishing an intentional cross-curricular program. That program lends to our 4A focus of academics, avid athletics, and the arts. Based upon the information you see, one of the things you will know is in ELA for grades 6, 7, and 8, all of those grades are either making progress or are at or above the state average. That is certainly something we want to continue in all content areas. However, you will notice that there is a decline of 3 points. I'll share with you our vision and mission statement is this is the school that every family wants their child to attend, and every stakeholder is the better because we are purposefully positioned here. I share that from the perspective of understanding collaboration. As a result of the growth in our area, we have seen a decrease in the opportunities we have for PLC periods. Thus, our teachers remain vigorous, innovative. They meet before school, they'll meet after school, but we are under the understanding and the trends understanding are lending to us understanding that this 3-point deficit is in direct relation to that concern. But we are committed to seeing excellence in every area and demonstrating growth.
Can you tell me that in English again?
Absolutely. Can I tell
We went from a 75 to a 72, minus 3 points, but we're progressing.
Okay, so 75 is at the end of the year. 72 is where we currently are.
Right.
We will make sure that we are at 75 or greater than that at the end of the year. So the mid-year comparison right now is different than our ending result last year.
Right. So help me understand how we dropped if we were doing great or doing good.
Yes, we dropped as a result. One of the areas that we see greatest response in is collaboration amongst teachers. We have...
Okay, tell me what that means.
Yes.
The teachers are not talking to each other or not working or teaching the same lessons together, or what does that mean?
Sure.
time
Okay.
together?
PLCs are professional learning communities where content areas get together and they work together, they study together in preparation for instruction of students.
Right.
Because some of those sections were so big, because some of those sections were so big, Mr. Renteria, we had to move away from PLC and use that instead of a PLC period and use that because the classes would be just too high. So the teachers are trying to meet
Too large, you mean?
Too large, I'm sorry. Yes, too large.
Okay.
So the teachers are meeting before school or after. They're still trying to have that collaboration, but it's not that set PLC. So that's a little different.
Okay. I was just trying to understand how that happened.
So,
And
so I would add that, you know, before we were sitting at class sizes of about 26, 27, and then, you know, when she said everybody wants to be at EF Green,
so give me some numbers.
30,
Give me an example of where we
34,
went from
34,
from
33.
25 to 34?
This
Yes.
year, she's got many classes, and we're working with HR to try to get her some additional help. But currently, you have class sizes over 30 at EF Green.
We've met with HR, and they're working with us and have provided some additional PCNs so that we can hire some additional staff. We're looking at the master schedule to see if we can maybe take some kids out of intervention and create another section. So we're looking at that whole puzzle piece and working with HR to try to help those teachers to get to a smaller
And how many
numbers.
classes do you have? Oh, periods, yeah. And
7 periods in a day.
so 7 periods, and each of the 7 periods have grown by at least 9 or whatever it is, you say 8 or
We
9?
have significant growth,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure it out for myself so I can tell Dr. Rodriguez where he needs to go to work. And, you know,
North side.
get him right off the bat, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm asking.
Thank you, we certainly appreciate it.
And even, Mr. Andrea, even if, you know, we have 2 positions allotted that we've tried to, you know, help her with, it's finding in the middle of the year 2 people who are certified to go in there and do that. So it's, we're working on getting her, and HR is working on getting her some extra positions, but then we still have to find those people.
Yeah, we have to put admin in there to teach a class. We gotta do what we gotta do.
I have questions.
I mean.
So
yeah.
is EF Green the only
It'll
middle
help,
school
it'll
without
help.
a PLC?
No, they do not have. Most of the others do have PLCs.
Right, they're the only ones without PLC. Okay, so my other question is, I mean, what is staffing looking like at the other schools? Are there schools where the staffing is, like the ratios are off on the other end because more students are going to EF Green?
The
Like
only
this-
place when we met with HR, and tell me if I'm wrong, HR, the only place that we had any extra room at all was Highlands Junior, but they're not over, they just may have some class sizes of like 22. So there's not enough for you take one that you're gonna actually, it'd kind of do the same thing to them.
Okay.
I know we were laughing, but the board is, when we were going through the interviewing process, one of our biggest goals, and maybe our only priority, was bringing up academic. And so, you know, in order to reverse this trend downward, you know, I personally have talked to Dr. Rodriguez, and one of my commitments was going to the schools and talking to people and actually being there and seeing what's going on, you know, especially some of the schools that are struggling. So be prepared. You'll start seeing Dr. Rodriguez. I might not be with him, but I might be with him, but we're both, and I'm sure other board members are already doing that. I know Helen does it a lot.
We're committed to doing the same thing. We had a team, and I really want to commend Jennifer Fierro. We dove into that schedule. We met with her counselor and really said, okay, you know, if we've got this intervention period with 10 people in it, how can we move some of those that may be doing better right now into a regular class and move some of those kids in the regular class that are struggling? So we really have dissected her master schedule about as far as you can go to try to alleviate, but it's still, there's a lot of kids over there.
Yeah, we're really trying to figure this out to help support, you know, because there are a lot of issues that, you know, we need to work out to get to that point. And like I said, I understood what you were saying, but, you know, a lot of times people come up here and do a dog and pony show, you know, but I like them to tell me specifics so I can address it or even speak about it when we have closed sessions or when we're talking in our meetings with Dr. Rodriguez, so that we can solve those issues, because that's why I asked.
Any other questions for EF Green? Okay, moving on to our last school, you'll see it looks a little differently because she had a B at the end of last year because that was with her CCMR and her graduation rate. And so I wanted you to be aware we're really diving in to look at that tier 1. last year she was actually at a 74, but the CCMR, we all know, is what really boosts those high schools. But I'm really excited. So if you look at where we're currently trending, she's actually trending right where she was at a B without her CCMR and graduate. So I know you, Ms. Guy, requested like, hey, who are some rock stars? I really want to celebrate Kelly because she is trending at a B without relying on the graduation rate or CCMR. So I'm hoping when we work on all three, the domain 1, 2, and 3, that we're going to see an A possibly. So we're excited about that. So I'll turn it over to you, Kelly. Brad.
Sure. You know me, I'm a little bit competitive.
Let me
so-
jump in real quick. CCMR, Dr. Jackson.
College and career and military readiness. So sorry.
We know that up here, but for the sake of transparency in our community that listens to this, that's why I'll keep asking about the acronyms.
Those are my middle initials. You just didn't know it.
He's not speaking for me. I didn't know what that was. I'm glad you said it again. Got to keep repeating those, abbreviations.
I have your back, Mr. Renfro.
I know you do. I know you do. But I was just saying.
So no, we're very excited about our scores. I'm not going to stop until we're at 100% and we have an A across the board, which we're pushing for always. I want to say one thing I'm very proud about is my admin and staff and students and just how adaptable that they have been. So seeing that they had new leadership come in, we've pushed new curriculum with Bluebonnet in our lifts. I've been pushing student and teacher data trackers to really focus them on student ownership. And then just all around, we created a new vision. So it's GCM, we stay red. So we stay ready, we stay empowered, and we stay driven. And they've really jumped into that vision, and you can see the outcome of them pushing for that. I will say one of our challenges is because we are pushing for that growth mindset, with our admin team, including Ms. Bernard, who has on her red jacket in the back as well. Yes, wave please. So she's been working with our Leadership Opportunity Committee, which is a group of about 20 teachers who are really looking for opportunity to grow. Out of those 20 teachers, we've already had 3 that have accepted positions into leadership, 2 into TLC and 1 into CTE, which is amazing, and we're super proud and excited for them. But that's really hard on us because those are seasoned, experienced teachers that we are going to lose on our campus. And so it really is about building that capacity in our other teachers to be able to step in and take the place of those teachers.
So the principal from San Jacinto Elementary said he doesn't call them problems. He said he calls them opportunities.
Opportunities.
There you go. You got opportunities.
I like it.
I call them challenges, whatever you want to call them. Just remember this, nothing good comes easy, and we're going to have to work, and that's the bottom line. We're going to have to work, And in fact, I would personally, I like to see that 85 and B or above, because when I see these C's, I kind of like, man, it's kind of, that's kind of, to me, barely passing, and there's always room for improvement. And I know that we did good on the CCMR in years past. I know it's way advanced, So, but we need all of the, people to come up with their
Student
grades
achievement,
and stuff,
absolutely.
so don't get discouraged.
Well, I can say thank you to both of you and have done exceptional. I visit your campus quite often. And Ms. Stewart, I told you the other day, thank you. I have a grandson that graduated last year, and she gave us this packet, and I tell you, I needed everything in that packet. So, and I have one this year who's targeted to graduate, and it's on Thank You, Lord, and I appreciate that too.
Amen. We'll get
And he's on target. So you guys are doing an exceptional job, and thank you again for all your hard work. And I know it's your growth in this area for you, both of your schools, and any school on this north side. It's a struggle. So anything we can do and any help that we can, like Mr. Mercedes said earlier, is that, whatever help we can give, because this is our target and a charge of our priority for this board is our student outcome measures. So thank you all. Thank you, Ms. Jackson and Mr. Foxworth.
Any other questions for us?
Just a quick comment, Dr. Jackson. Last month, you did a great job of explaining what the summative score was now. If you talked about it at the beginning of this, I missed it. Just kind of go over the difference between the star scores and the summative
Okay, so
scores.
we looked at their overall campus rating, that's your first column, and then we looked at where would we be if we only looked at all students, all tests, domain one, no growth, no relative improvement, and that encompasses their beginning of the year screener, any common unit assessments that are short snippets. We taught the unit, we tested the unit, and then the last column includes their benchmark, which is an overall assessment of what they've been taught from the beginning of the year to right now, right before Christmas. So that is a real good indicator. The next biggest indicator will be the MOI, which is the middle of the year screener, and we'll get that next month to y'all. And to me, the triangulation of that data between where did we start, how are we doing on our short snippets of testing, that we taught it, we tested it, and then how did we retain the information, and now we have a predictor that says this is based on the prediction, we think this is what's going to happen. So every time we come up and we give you a little more data, it's cumulative. Does that make sense?
That was a great explanation. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I just wanted a refresher.
I'm glad you reminded us about that.
Okay.
That got me last time. Yeah.
Any other
give you a
questions
test
for this
next time.
panel?
Yeah. But I can tell you this, Dr. Rodriguez knows his charge that we've given him to, to bring these help, to support you guys, to bring these grades up, and so he's committed to doing that. I can tell you that.
We've had many conversations, and he's, we're going to even we're looking at scheduling to curriculum to anything that we can do, and he's very supportive and has said that this is the main charge.
Yeah, if he wasn't, we wouldn't have hired him.
Well, I'm glad you did. Any other questions for us? Okay, this is for you, Clem, and then I'm going to go sit down. There's only 4 slides, so somebody's going to take the trophy back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. The 2 rock stars.
Next, we have the monthly financial report. We have Bridget Clark and Leanna Price. They're gonna sit down on the front and share the information with us.
Welcome back. It's good to see y'all every month. Thank y'all so much.
You stole my thunder. I was going to say, well, the good news is you're getting more information. The bad news is you're going to have to see me more often than you already do, especially in budget season. Good evening, Mr. President, trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. As Mr. Campisi mentioned, at the pleasure of the board, we're now presenting monthly updates for financials. And, we're just proud and honored to bring this information to you and happy to carry the spirit of transparency. And I will resist stealing any of Mrs. Price's thunder, and I will turn it over to her.
Good evening, President Campisi, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez, and guests. This evening, I'm presenting to you the monthly financials as of November 30th, 2025. Across all of our major funds, revenues and expenditures are tracking in alignment with the fiscal year timeline. Projected fund balance remains sufficient and in compliance with board policy. And in the next few slides, we will go in detail with each fund. For the general fund, we have received approximately 44% of budgeted revenues and expended 42% of the budgeted expenditures, which is consistent with the expectations of this point in the fiscal year. Projected year-end fund balance is approximately $105.9 million, representing 40% of the annual operating expenditures. Funds remain in full compliance with the 25% board policy reserve. This slide highlights the superintendent contingency allocation within the general fund. I want to note that moving forward, we're going to change the name of this allocation from superintendent contingency, to the district contingency reserve, because it's not just a pool of money for the superintendent. It is money that we use for district operations, and emergencies.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. It more accurately describes what that fund is.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Right.
And again, this this allocation is a planned component adopted within the general fund budget. It's not separate or an excess reserve. The percentage of the general fund allotted to contingency compared to all the other major spending categories is very, very modest. And as you can see here, this contingency has 0.19% when you look at the overall general fund budget. Here we have the detailed itemized list of what the contingency has been allocated for, where we've transferred funds out to. We started with a $500,000 adopted budget. We have allocated funds out of $116,000 for the different needs. And you can see we have $383.8 thousand remaining.
I'd like to add real quick that those last two slides were at the request of the board, so thank you for providing those so quickly.
You're welcome. Here we have the debt service fund. And looking at the debt service fund, we have received 3% of the revenues, which is typical because revenues for debt service are coming in through December and January as we receive property tax collections. So we'll start seeing a huge increase. 29% of expenditures have been expended, and that's in line with our debt service payment schedule. We do have a sufficient restricted balance that will help us pay our required debt. Food service has recognized approximately 36% of the projected revenues and expended 27% of its annual budget to date. Based on current trends, projected year-end fund balance is approximately $5.7 million. This represents about 3 months of operating expenditures, and it's meeting the reserve benchmark of 3 months. The last fund that I'm going to show you is not one of our major funds, but it's our capital improvement fund, which is the fund where our 313 and our FTZs, which we also get in line with our property tax collections. So those revenues will start coming in within the next few months. The projects that you see listed for 25-26, we will start budgeting those projects as those funds start coming in for the 25-26 year, and the same will happen with 26-27. As you can see, the revenues will start going down as the 313s expire.
When is that?
Each one of the 313s are on a different year to expire.
Yeah, we have a schedule. I can start.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's going to be a few more years for some of them that we just engaged in right before the law changed. So we do have several more years on some of them, but yeah, they are expiring because of the sundowning of the law.
Thank you. That's all I have. Any questions?
Just to comment, we came to y'all and asked for this report a few months ago, and it's for, number one, the benefit of the board, and what I'm seeing is that we're on track with the budget that we approved last year. And number two, for transparency for our community, so they could also see the actual numbers and where their tax dollars are going, and just be more forthcoming with it. So thank you so much. I know it's a little more work on your part, but I feel like it's very beneficial to the board to see these regularly.
Absolutely. Happy to present that to you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How come we have a contingency fund for the superintendent, or the one that we just changed the name? Why? Why don't we just put in general fund, and then as we need it and you present it to us, we vote on it like the rest of the, why is there a special fund for that?
Well, it would slow down operations every time, if we had to come every time we had a small request or a large request, if we had to come every single time. it'd be a month for them to wait or, that sort of thing. So it's just, desk break, furniture breaks, boilers go out. I mean, there's,
But doesn't he still have to bring it before us and we have to vote on it anyway?
if it's a budget amendment, we do, yes. But if it's more than what we already allocated for that function, yes, we do have to bring a budget amendment regardless. And if it's something over $50,000, the board has to approve it anyway. So if it's anything large, you're going to see it anyway, just because of procurement law.
That's my point.
Right.
Why have it in a separate fund if we're going to do it anyway? We're going to vote it anyway. Why not put it in a general fund?
It's just to be able to not halt operations or be able to support campuses or be able to support students in ways that we wouldn't be able to.
But it's not an emergency fund. I could see if it was an like say we needed, something happened and we had to use that money for an emergency, but it's not. It's just a general fund that we're pulling from.
Yes, it is general fund. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, it's pretty
just
standard.
A question, and
Sure. Good question.
Well, I think a little more clarity from my point of view on that would be that we have to budget the funds for contingency. So we have to put them in the budget and we have to allocate them for something. So we're budgeting a certain amount for what may or may not happen.
But that's also in the bond rating, right? We have to have that contingency fund to keep our bond rating, and that's for an emergency use, right?
Right. We have disaster funds earmarked,
go.
and we have a certain fund balance reserves requirements. Yes.
Right. So I mean, I know what he said. I got to ask you guys. Y'all are the experts. He's not an expert at that. That's his opinion.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, but it's a serious question. I know we're laughing, but it's a serious question.
And you can
for accountability and for transparency, because I can tell you as a board member for a long time, I didn't even know that contingency fund was there until Randy mentioned it. I said, why do you got that kind of money available to you? And that's when we started bringing that up.
And most of the time, it's not really used all the way. Like you can see these 6 items here that we did spend it on so far. It's $116,000.
And that makes even more or makes my point even more valid. If it's not ever used, why do we got a separate fund? Just put it back in the general fund and we use it when we need it. It's just food for thought. I'm just saying.
Appreciate it.
And I do want to add to that, Mr. Rendrea. One of the things that we discussed, the first step was we recognized that having the title superintendent was causing some heartburn. So the first step was to go ahead and name it for what it is. It's for the district.
Right. I acknowledge that.
Yeah. So the second part is this being the spring semester and we're still in the school year. We will definitely take into consideration what you shared. I do see what you're saying when it comes to just a very simplistic budgeting process without the funds. So we will definitely have those conversations as we're preparing for the 26-27 school year.
Okay. I just think if we have all our money in the same pot, we know it's more accountable. Okay.
Don't we have a match for that account?
I'm sorry?
Don't we have a match for it, like what can be moved upon without board approval? Like if we say that just across the board that you have like $50,000 that you can spend out of that without board approval,
is there a limit or not?
Yeah, anything over 50,000 has to be board approved regardless. So, and we're such a large district, it's real easy to hit 50,000. So, I mean, you can see the 6 items we have here those didn't rise to the level, but you can see the genesis of these were campus requests or, Giant Con and that sort of thing. So they were requests from campuses and departments that they needed help with something. That's when they come.
Like it's a big ticket item.
Right. Yeah, they need help with something. They need help with a budget. There's cost, that they weren't expecting in something. So they come and ask, and then the decision's made. Yeah.
Okay.
So mainly for support.
I kind of knew that. I just wanted to bring it up because
absolutely,
I think
great question.
It needs to be discussed, and just like we talked about, doing an audit. Things that need to be discussed.
Sure.
We have a change of leadership, and I think it'd be a perfect time to go through and look at some of the accounts and, do an audit, external audit, and put a second set of eyes on our money, just like the properties. You know, why do we got all that property? We got so much property which we're just holding on to money that's just sitting there. Why? I mean, don't make no sense to me, but it's not, I could see if it was gaining interest or, you know, we were selling some of it to, you know, for profit, but we're not doing nothing with it. It's just sitting there. So, you know.
And I would like to add that on the superintendent contingency, 2 of those items were presented to the board through the superintendent campus connection. So
I have a question also. So in some of the other accounts, are there more restrictions on what it can be spent on? Like when I look at things like Giant Con Hospitality and Campus Connection ADA incentives, it seems to me like in some of the other monies in some of the other accounts, there are more restrictions on how that money can be spent. Are there less restrictions when you have it set up? Like, is that one reason we might have an account like this? Because of restrictions?
Well, general fund can be used for any legal purpose, you know, as it pertains to instruction or operations. But the restrictions center around procurement law. I mean, we expect budget owners to understand their budgets and plan for their budgets. And when they put their budgets in, they have planned accordingly for, you know, their PD and so forth. So restrictions, yes, I mean, they need to be for instructional purposes. And
So, yeah, so like in some budgets, you can't buy food with that money and different things. Like, I know I've gotten that answer before.
around food purchases,
Okay.
and you have to have an agenda.
And incentives and different things like that.
There are rules around all those types of things, yes.
And
You're
the
correct.
transactions don't happen in this allocation. We actually transfer through budget change requests to the departments so that they can put those in and actually do the encumbrance.
Yeah. So it doesn't actually get paid out of
Through
the
this
district
fund.
contingency, superintendent contingency, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't get paid out of that. It gets transferred to the requesting department, yeah, or campus.
And I know I'm beating a dead horse, but is that not the same thing that we do with the general fund? Same practice, the same policy?
It is.
Same everything?
It is. Like when you see a reallocation in functions, whenever we move money from one function to another, we have to bring that to you, and that rule applies as well. So if they need something for instruction versus leadership, then they have to have that board approved.
All right, thank you all so much. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Dr. Rodriguez, I'll turn it over to you for action items number 7, consent agenda.
Did you want to go through all these individually, or?
We'll read them all at once, and then we'll call separate.
All right. Do you want me to read them all? Okay. Yes, sir, Mr. President. We have, under 7A1, we have Teacher District of Innovation Phase Out Plan from House Bill 2. 7A2 is proposed low attendance waiver for Sterling High School on December 19th, 2025. 7A3 is library materials. 7A4 is MOU between GCCISD and Lee College for operation of the dual credit programs framework, traditional dual credit, early college high school, and P-TECH early college high school. 7A5 is award competitive seal proposal, CSP 26-008 for Baytown Junior roof replacement. 7A6 is second option for extended request for proposal, RFP 24-006 for nutrition services, smallware, and related items. 7A7 is second option to extend RFP 24-007 for nutrition services, large equipment, installation, and related products. 7A8, first option to extend RFP 24-013 for fine art supplies, equipment, and services. 7A9, award RFP 26-007 for grounds, equipment, supplies, and repairs. 7A10, join Region 10 Education Services Center, EdTech Exchange Purchasing Cooperative. And last, we have 7A11, tax refunds. Yep. Administration recommends the board to approve the following items.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. Are there any items that any board member would like to pull for a separate discussion or consideration?
Number 10, please.
Number 10 is pulled for a separate.
I'm on number 5, but we don't have to pull it out, just discuss it.
Okay. And I will pull item number 4 for a separate consideration. Are there any more? So before us, we'll go ahead and do the ones that are consent agenda, and then we'll go back to the other. Administration recommends consideration of consent agenda items 1 through 3, 5 through 9, and number 11. What is the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Clem and a second by Mrs. Guy for consent agenda items 1 through 3, 5 through 9, and number 11. Is there any quick discussion? Mr. Renteria, you had something on number 5?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. You know, when you see this Baytown Junior roof replacement, well, one time we had that discussion about what are we going to do with the bond, the leftover bond money. We had like 3 or 4 million, and Randy kind of got me in a corner when he said, well, what are you going to do with it? And I said, well, give it to the teachers. Well, you can't use it for that, right? But, you know, this is one of the items that we probably could have used that money for, 3 million, 4 million to replace the roof. And I just wanted to point that out because, you know, we always have building repairs that need to be done. And, you know, of course, I was against that repurposing over there. So, you know, I brought this up about the 3 million and the leftover bond money and using it for something that the public didn't really approve us to use it for. We just took it upon ourselves to use it that way. But I'm pretty sure that we could have used it for this roof or Robert E. Lee's roof or many of the other repairs that are lingering, even Sterling. You know, we had the foundation situation at Sterling where in the bond that they wanted to replace the whole school instead of fixing the foundation. And so, you know, this is the type of money that, you know, in this type of job or those foundation, roofs, building repair, all that kind of stuff that we could have used that money for, you know. Too bad Randy's not here or else I'd have jumped him, but.
Thank you, Mr.
I sent him a
Renteria.
text.
Mr. Sampson? Turn your microphone on, please, sir.
7-9, these are the vendors we are planning on using for equipment repair and buying equipment.
Yes, and we have Ms. Clark coming up.
And Ms. Cantu. Just real quick on the Baytown Junior roof, Mr. Renteria, that one is actually, we had damages from Beryl. And so that one's an actual insurance and FEMA claim on that one, just so you know that one.
But the Robert E. Lee roof,
But
the
those, you're,
foundation,
right.
I mentioned
yeah.
several different issues.
Yeah.
You know, I understand, but that was money we could have used it for, you know.
Yes, sir. Just
But
wanted to
thank
clarify
pointing
for you.
that out. I appreciate it.
And yes, sir, Mr. Sampson, those are the vendors that are being selected so that we can purchase as needed grounds equipment and supplies.
Okay, that's all.
Like lawnmowers?
If we need it, if there's a need.
Oh, you
If there's a need and if the budget
So
allows.
is there a need or not a need?
For a lawnmower, there hasn't
No,
been
no,
a
I mean,
request yet.
We're allotting this money, we're earmarking this money for machinery, right? What are we gonna use it for? I mean, is there something specific that we're
No.
earmarking this for?
No, sir, this is
Okay.
just an as-needed basis. So we're actually taking care of the procurement regulations, just so when the need arises,
Okay.
where the procurement law has been satisfied.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to ask.
Yep,
Yeah, thank
of course.
Just stay there and rest comfortably.
We're coming back.
You'll be right back.
Okay.
Any other questions? So before us, we'll vote on 1 through 3, 5 through 9, and number 11. Seeing no other questions, all in favor, show of hands. Seeing 7, 4, and 0 against, motion passes. We'll go back to number 4. Dr. Rodriguez, would you read number 4 again, please, sir?
Yes, it's a memorandum MOU between GCCISD and Lee College for operation of the dual credit programs framework, traditional dual credit, Early College High School and P-Tech Early College High School.
Move to approve consent agenda item number 4.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Clem and a second by Mrs. Guy to approve consent agenda item number 4 only. Are there, are there any questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? And 1 abstention. Seeing 6-4, 0 opposed, 1 abstention, motion passes. Dr. Rodriguez, number 10, please, sir.
Yes, it's to join Region 10 Education Service Center EdTech Exchange Purchasing Cooperative.
Start with the motion.
Somebody, I'll move to approve consent agenda item number 10.
I have a motion by Mr. Clem and a second by Ms. Guy to approve item number 10. We'll open it up for discussion. Mr. Clem, go.
Yeah, like 2 questions, I think, unless you make me think of more. First, what will the Region 10 cooperative provide us that Board and other cooperatives we're already in does not?
So this particular cooperative has more of technology items.
Okay.
There's different vendors on there, a little bit more variety. Some of
Okay.
them do overlap, but they do offer a little bit more
Sure,
variety.
okay. I notice our cover sheet says there's no cost to join, which I appreciate, but how do they make their money?
Sometimes that's what they do to help districts,
Mhm.
and sometimes they charge a fee to the vendors instead.
Okay, so they may get a commission from the vendor.
Typically, sometimes they do, and it's a
all right.
very small fee.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, like, I know when we buy buses, we pay a commission, et
Yes, sir.
cetera. So it'll be similar or much smaller, though.
Correct.
Okay, great. That's what I need to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on item number 10? So we'll take a vote on item number 10. All in favor, please signify by a show of hands. Seeing 7, 4, and 0 against, the motion passes. And that concludes consent agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to 7B, future board agenda items, board training, and board meetings. We'll entertain future board agenda items from the board at this time.
I would like to see one as we move forward and as what was approved for private school funding of vouchers, and as we have a system through our special education program where the staff is already swamped, I would like to see like maybe a quarterly report on how many outside like private schools that are requesting evaluations through our special education program. Dr. Rodriguez.
Yes, we can definitely get that information. Obviously, this is something new that's going to be coming down for all school districts, but we can definitely work on getting that information for you.
Thank you.
Mr. Antria?
Yeah, are we scheduled to have a bullying program?
The anti-bullying committee meets 3 times a year, I believe, right now. Currently on that committee is myself and Mrs. Guy. We shuffled a little bit.
Presentation.
Oh, a presentation that falls on the calendar. I'm not sure exactly when that is.
I think in light of the circumstances that we're in or currently in, I think it would be very good to have some kind of presentation.
We can.
That's just. I'd also like to discuss the audit program that we discussed, an external audit for our budget. And then the third thing is I'd like to also go ahead and discuss the Marshall program again and get any updates on that. I think that would be something worthy of discussing.
Do you want the Guardian program tied into the Marshall program,
Yes,
or just
that
the
would be
Marshall?
good. Yes, thank you. Yes, I would.
Thank you, Mr. Renteria. Any other agenda items from any other board member? Hearing none.
I'd have a question. How often, I know we have several monthly recurring presentations already, but how often could we expect to hear from the Student Safety Advisory Committee? Just updates on their work.
Well, as Mrs. David mentioned earlier, there's multiple departments that are going to be working with the students. I'd say at this moment in time, we could have another presentation to follow up.
Okay.
So we would have 2 in the spring semester. So that
Okay.
rotation would seem more of a quarterly
Perfect.
type of. Now, one of the things that was mentioned earlier by Mr. Renteria was obviously we already have a bullying committee that already exists. One of the things that I made note of is there a way to go ahead and merge the 2 and have it under one umbrella of safety and security? So that's one of the things that I am going to want to research along with the team and see how we can incorporate it. I'm always a fan of in lieu of and not in addition to. So if we already have an existing group that is talking about safety and security, bullying, and if it can all fall under the same umbrella, then I'd like to see how we can merge the 2 groups, because you have some individuals that are obviously experienced with topics of bullying and safety and security with a new group. So we will be having those conversations and seeing what we can do.
And in keeping with that, if I could, I would also like to see a partnership with the community serving on the bullying committee that, like we had before, that was done away with.
The community is still involved. There are still parents and students on the committee.
On the committee, they're serving on the committee? Who's our representative from the community?
It's parents and students from different schools.
That's
There's
not what I'm talking
representation
about.
from
Yeah,
every
yeah.
school.
I get it, but I'm talking
They're
about.
part of the community.
No, but we had them serving on the board, on the committee with them before whoever got them off of there.
Well, I think they're rotating, just like the board members are rotating off and on.
Yeah, I get it,
So.
Yeah, but I would like to see them serving and having individuals like we used to have. I'll give you for an example. Kim Kostex is the one that created this program, and it was recognized by the state. I'm not saying that she should be the one. I'm just saying we should allow for the community involvement more like it was in the past. And like I said, I just, I think that would be good.
I will say, Mr. Renteria, there are
In fact, hold on,
representatives.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just had a thought. Maybe one of the students, could be on when he merges it, can be on that committee. Maybe the president of their student program or whatever. Just that's fine with me. I just want to see more involvement and dialogue. Because that eventually, and I mentioned this earlier also. I would also like to see that safety committee, the student safety committee, to meet as much or more than the bullying committee, because the bullying committee, they just present every now and then, right, when we ask for it, right? But I would also like to say that, the question was presented as to how many times should they meet, and you said twice. I would just say as needed, because if they need to come and, and address us, I mean, they can do it at the podium, I know that, but I mean, it's for the students, to be able to communicate with us a little bit better. But just some food for thought, whatever you want to do.
Right. Well, I can share what I know about that, because I do serve on that committee, and I've been on it now for 2.5 years. There is parent representation and there's student representation on it.
Okay.
And the way that committee's run is we were doing 4 meetings a year. 2 of those meetings are with adults only, and 2 of the meetings bring in the students.
So I tell you what, can you explain the setup with this committee? Like who's on it, principals, 2 of our members on trustees are on it.
Folks, we're dangerously close to having a non-agenda item discussion.
Understood. So we'll bring that at
Okay, so we'll use that as a presentation in that meeting to discuss what we would like to discuss in dialogue.
Great. Yeah. Mr. Clem, I'm going to take that as a point of order. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to governance camp is coming up on.
One more.
Oh, there's one more?
I was being quiet.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to be quiet.
Future board agenda items, go.
Well, or maybe a report. In light of Dr. Babin's revelation to us, could we get an updated enrollment report? And the format already exists, so just somebody push the button and send it to us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, we can go ahead and get that, and I can put that in the board update.
And can it include like staffing also, like enrollment of students and staffing, so we can see?
Yes,
Okay.
it normally does.
Okay.
Well, it does for the elementaries. I don't know if it does for the secondaries. So maybe it should do that for the secondaries as well.
But whether they're pushing a button, transparency is always good, whatever, you know, just
Absolutely. Any more agenda item requests? Now I'll move on to board training. Coming up March 4 through 7 is Governance Camp in Galveston, Texas. If you are interested in attending that, please let Mrs. Garcia know tonight. Even if you're not totally committing, let her know that you have interest so she can begin the planning process. Also coming up on February 4th is the Gulf Coast Area Association School Board meeting. It's going to be held, I believe, in Pearland. Great opportunity for board members to go, and if we have enough people, meaning more than one, we can carpool if you wish. Those are the only board trainings I have listed. Our next.
That's governance camp training in Galveston?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah. You going there?
Item number 3, board meetings. The next board meeting is February 9th, and the following board meeting will be February 23rd. Both are regularly called board meetings here in this building, regular time, regular place.
I would make a request. Well, first an announcement. I will miss my first board meeting in over 5 years.
Oh, no, we got to change it.
On February, no, please don't. I will not be at the February 9th meeting, so please have 3 grievance hearings and 4 budget meetings and, I don't know, 6 or 8 financial reports.
Get them all done.
Get them all done.
All right, at this time, we'll move on to item number C, closed meeting. The board will now recess into closed session pursuant to one or more of the following sections of the Texas Government Code, sections 551.071, .072, .073, 74, 75, 76, 82, 83, 84, 87, and 89. No action will be taken while the board is in closed session. The time is now 8:31 p.m. Board will now reconvene in open session. The time is now 10:24 p.m. No action was taken while the board was in closed session. I'll say it quieter next time, Mr. Sampson. We are on agenda item 7E. Dr. Rodriguez?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. For item 7E1, administration recommends that the board approve teacher new hires.
Move to approve.
I'll say. Oh, go ahead.
I have a motion by Mr. Clem, and who seconded it?
Okay. Either one of us. I did.
I have a motion by Mr. Clem and a second by Ms. Brought-Timms to approve teacher new hires. Any discussion? Any other discussion? All in favor, please signify by a show of hands. Showing 7, 4, and 0 against, the motion passes.
For item 7E2, administration is recommending that the board accept the resignations and retirements listed.
Move to approve.
I have a motion by Mr. Clem and a second by Mr. Sampson to approve item number 7E2. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Seeing 7, 4, and 0 against, motion passes.
Okay. For items 7.3, administration is recommending that the board approve the following administrative new hires. Yes. First one is NAS CTE Program Manager. Second is Elementary Counselor. Third is Speech Language Pathologist Assistant.
Would you list the names?
The names?
It's just, that's it to one.
Let me ask the board while we're doing that, do we want to take all three of these together or separately? Is anyone opposed to taking them together?
For the CTE NAS Program Manager, we have Angela Johnson. For the counselor at San Jacinto Elementary, Elaine Harrington. And for the speech language pathologist assistant, we have Emily Rendon.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Clem and a second by Mr. Martinez to approve the three administrative new hires as presented. Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Renteria?
Just a suggestion that we make sure that when we do the hiring, that they go to the appropriate rows of hiring or to the policy that we have, if there is one for hiring, so that, go ahead, you're good.
No, okay, thank you, Mr. Renteria. I didn't mean to jump in. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Seeing 7 for and 0 against, motion passes. Item number 8.
For item number 8, administration recommends that the board take action to approve a foreign trade zone tax equivalency and contribution agreement with Sumika Semiconductor Materials Texas, Inc., and pursuant to such agreement, authorize.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Mrs. Barat Timms and a second by Mr. Renteria to approve item number 8 as presented. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Seeing 7 for and 0 against, motion passes. Dr. Rodriguez, on behalf of the board, welcome again to Goose Creek, and you've survived your first board meeting with us. And everyone that still remained with us this evening, thank you. We are adjourned. The time is 10:28 p.m.